Right, we're in here in the workshop and I've got Mr. Warren at the other side there on the top of that camera, big fancy camera things taking up the whole workshop. A lot of people want to build their own rods, so let's have a go at it today. What's on the go is a 4-piece, 10 foot 7 weight. It's one of Mick Bell's blanks, bloke rods, which I use a lot of. The basic things you'll need, some of the tools are pretty basic. Scissors, single edge razor blade, 2 or 3 wheel loops of mono, masking tape, insulating tape. That's as far as the tools really go. Need a few more, but that's the basics. You can build almost any rod with that lot. On the actual components, obviously the blank, set of guides, which I've laid out last night, cork, again it's got to be reamed. I'll show you how to do it, but I've already done it to save a bit of time. Small extension butt and a reel seat. If there was no extension butt, a small cover would go in at the bottom, but as there is an extension butt, it'll be going there. And the customer, that's a customer's rod, he wants the reel seat in this case up locking. At the moment that's about as far as the components go, except thread. And in this particular instance, it's basic. It's going to be black with an occasional blue trim band. On the thread, something probably worth talking about later on. I'm going to be using black. It's a size A thread we're using. In fact, I've got some already opened over there. There are different types of thread. There's different grades of thread. Each has got its own use, and we can probably go into that very, very shortly before we actually start the build. Or, should I say, at one point while the some of the glue adhesive is drying off. Obviously you need adhesives, and at the end of the day a resin. That's about as far as it goes for the parts and the components. The next thing to do is to actually start building the rod. Right, well, we can more or less start the build. Well, I need to prepare the blank a wee bit first. So we've got 4 sections, and as you can see at the moment they're all the same size. Now most people would not bother their backside, especially big companies, big fancy companies. I prefer to do it right.
Do you mean like...
Well, I'm mentioning no names. Anyway, what we've got here, or we will have, is a handle, a reel seat and a small extension butt that we're going on there. The extension butt is drilled, I pre-drilled it last night. It's just a simple case of widen the hole fractionally with a drill, a cordless drill. But it only goes as far as the rubberized bit of cork, which means if I was to just put it on exactly like that, and as you can see, that bit of blank is going to be at least 3/4 inch longer than any other bit, which won't make a dramatic difference to fishing with it, but if you decide to put it into a rod tube, especially a metal one, one bit of your blank's not going to suit one bit of your blank's not going to fit into the tube if they're a tight fit. So we want to first off put that in, present it and mark it. Just to let me know how far it's going. And that's coming to there. I'm going to take that bit off and hacksaw that off. Simple junior hacksaw. Now I normally do it somewhere else down there, but because Lenny's got a big camera there, I'm having to rearrange where I do things, so bear with me a second.
Also it's my fault then?
Your fault, yep. Now we have junior hacksaw, a spare bit of blank, that could be a bit of dowel, could be a bit of wood, could be anything. Just stick it in there. I found that bit last night. Stick it in. All that's going to do, instead of me hacksawing right through, I'm going to work my way around, and that bit inside is going to stop it fraying. It's really that simple. Obviously, don't cut right through or that's going to be stuck in there forever. Normally that mess goes on the floor, but because of him and his big camera, which I think they used in the set of a Bond film or something.
Size is important.
Look at the mess. Right, that's trimmed down now. We don't need that anymore. Now the other thing you'll need tool-wise, especially since Lenny's loaded the place out with that, is some cloth, old cloth, anything you like. T-shirts, you name it, that type of material. And meths. Lots and lots of meths. Get the decent meths out of Screwfix. Know some of that peely-wally light coloured stuff that you get in some of these pound shops, it's rubbish. And I'll apologise in advance, health and safety goes out the window with me, I couldn't care less. My hands go into anything, makes no difference.
Remember, kids, when you do this at home, be safe.
Be safe, aye. It's like the machinery I've got outside there, there's not a guard in any of it. Because if there was, I couldn't use it. It's as simple as that.
We might have to cut that bit out.
Yeah. Don't like it, the lump. But by the way, PC stops here as well. I don't do PC. Right, time to mark this out. First thing going on is the reel seat. Which is there. Now, reel seat. It's anodised aluminium. Nice and shiny, lovely finish on it. Sadly, they did the same inside. A lovely smooth finish.
That's good, yeah.
Don't we get a view inside that?
Yeah.
Well, if you do get a view inside it, it's all been scored out. I used a small 1/8 part chisel, simple wood chisel, and scabbled it to get rid of the smooth surface, and then a wee clean up with a bit of sandpaper that went in. Anyway, the reel seat is uplocking in this case. I'm missing a bit there, the handle. The handle's recessed, which is there. It's to accept the reel seat, so when it goes in, it ends up like that. Now, most of you're not going to have the cutters to do that. You could do it with a Dremel. You could do it with Dremel. I've got actual cutters that do it. I've got them made, or they're out of titanium. If you buy your, somewhere down the line, we can leave you a list of where to buy stuff. Nothing I say, I'm not recommending anything. It's just convenient to get things from a certain place. It goes for anything I do here. It is not written in stone. If you get 10 different rod builders, you're going to get 10 different ways of doing it. Each one suits them, and every one, bar the occasional one, will work. So nothing I say is written in stone. Right, we're at a stage, I've put that on, that's just temporary. Want to mark it. I don't know what it is. It's only sitting on there, it's not glued, it can come off again. I'm going to move the reel seat down. So see, this one's uplocking. Just means the direction it screws. Am I going to mark that? Now, as you can see, presumably, it's a pity it's black on black, but you can see there's quite a big build up there of the reel seat. Between the reel seat and the blank. Possibly, it's hard to tell, 4 or 5 mil all round. So that's got to be built up to accept the reel seat. It's called an arbor. There's a multitude of ways to do it. Whatever goes on to build it up, you could use masking tape. Lots of people do, some of the big companies do. In fact, some of them use cardboard tubes to hold the reel seat. It's usually, I know there's cardboard tubes because I've got to repair them all when it doesn't work. All you're doing is putting rings on to build it up. You can use cork, masking tape, anything. Whatever you put on, it is purely a centering shim. It is not going to put, it's not going to have any effect on the adhesion of the reel seat. It's just for centering. What wouldn't work, as I've seen done, is some half-wit doing something like that. Building it up and then putting the reel seat on. No adhesive in the blank. The entire reel seat is then dependent on that bit of masking tape, which is obviously nonsense. You can use masking tape, you can use drywall tape, you know, gyprock tape. You can use cork. You can use a build-up of card, anything you like. I like this. It's loom tape for the fabric loom tape. You can see it's small gaps in it. And once it stretches, the adhesive will actually go right through it. It will soak through it. I've tried this, stripped it off later, you know, the next day, and it does. The adhesive's going right through it. With it, we've got 1, 2, 3 bits on it. Should be somewhere maybe about there, I guess. And find out. Another 1, maybe 2. So that thing gets bloody well glued on the bit, and it's got a life of its own. That's a nice glue fit. Obviously, the first one was about 11 turns or something. Further down the blank it goes, less turns because of the taper of the blank. Good glue fit again. Another 1 on there. These bits are called arbors. No matter what you make them out, it's just the name of it. Or the name that somebody gave to it somewhere. Yeah, that's a good glue fit all the way. And as you can see, plenty of space there, there, for the adhesive to actually hold onto the blank. And I can assure you, having stripped down some top range rods worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds, there's a damn sight less glue on the entire thing, probably from there to there, than what will be in there. So we're ready to glue it. It's that simple. Right, we've got the arbors on now. Time to glue the real seat on properly. It's 2-part Flexicoat is the name of it. 5-minute epoxy. It's normally in bigger tubs than this, but the supplier was out, so I've had to take the smaller ones. It's an actual rod building adhesive. Don't get it mixed up. Me using the word epoxy. Don't get it mixed up with the resin that goes over the threads. It is not. Totally different thing. I know I've seen some YouTubes of some, I'll not mention the name, using it on apparently a rod builder who runs a business in America. God help his clients, that's the way he does it. Anyway, we've got everything ready here. 2-part adhesive. Lure pack, that's essential. Would you believe they actually sell mixing trays if people are stupid enough to buy it? The theory being that you can flex it because it's thin plastic and the old glue comes off. Oh really? I'll just go lure pack, that'll do me. You might gather as this goes on, I am a bit of a dinosaur.
I'd just like to point out other margarine brands are available.
Yeah, but only for cheaper rods. Like that's they get margarine, we get lure pack. Might gather as I go on a wee bit here, I am a complete dinosaur. I trust very little unless it's been around for a long time. I don't do super duper modern, the latest must have. In fact, I'm only getting round to trusting plastic drain pipes. I've only just got over cast iron. You can use Araldite. It's a bit stiff. If you're at a pinch, you can use Araldite, but I can send you links where to get all this stuff, or we can put links up where to get all this. 2-part epoxy. Nothing else I can say about it. It's similar to Araldite, but the very name Flexico, it is flexible. It's just a 50-50 mix, approx. You get a wee bit of leeway in it. Obviously the same idea as Araldite. But as I say, when it dries, it is slightly flexible to allow for the rod flexing. And it's sold as 5-minute epoxy, but it actually does take probably 20 minutes to dry up fully. But we can do other things with the rod in between, set it all out, get the guides, get the spine, whatever it takes. That's roughly 50-50. I'm not going to be... I've got a good bit of leeway in this. There ain't the same leeway when we come to the final resin that goes over the threads. Old spatula, been around for years. Artist spatula. Good old mix up. As I say, this is uplocking this reel sheet. This has actually taken me a wee bit longer to do than it normally would. Because normally I don't even think about it. Obviously I'm going to think about what I'm doing here. So as I can, whatever the word is, commentate. I normally don't think about it, we just do it. Me. Loads of adhesive and it's overlapping. Tons of glue. I'll put it on for the other end. Just for the thread there. I would normally put masking tape around that thread, just so as I can think about it on it. I totally forgot there actually. Which means I need to put a wee bit on there. I'll do it the right way then, I'll push it down. Sound like a liberal.
Oh, very topical political comment there. We should get t-shirts made.
Aye.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
As you're putting the adhesive on, twist it. Not the adhesive, the reel sheet. Twist it. I'll have Mick Bell on to be telling me this is not the way to do it. I don't care, Michael. As I said, if Mike does it different ways, which he probably does, they all work. Nor am I a believer in trying to skimp on the materials. But none of them that expensive. Right, and my meths. Yeah, good enough. Messy job. Be prepared to get messed up a wee bit. That's why I'm always dressed like a tramp. Spend my life covered in goo. Right, that's it. You'll notice here, I didn't think to even spine. We'll show that in a minute or two. Didn't even think to spine that bit of the blank. Because it's so stiff at the bottom end, there is no need. No need whatsoever. We're letting the reel sheet dry off. It was glued, should be dry fairly shortly. 3 sections of the rod. We're going to find the spine. The spine of the rod is a can of worms. I don't care. You're going to do it correctly. There's many people say you don't need to bother with the spine. Build it to the top, build it to the bottom, whatever. I find it important. Right, if you can see this, whether you know or don't know, a rod starts out in a flat bit of sheet, a flat sheet, be it carbon glass mixture, glass, whatever it's made of. It's called pre-peg, it's pre-impregnated. It goes onto a metal steel mandrel and it's rolled around the mandrel, and that's what gives you the shape of the rod itself. So it stands to reason, if you look at it end on, as it's been rolled, it's like a Swiss roll. It's got a starting point and a finishing point. So obviously at that bit it's thicker than it is there. And that's what gives you the natural bend of the rod. It's hard to do with a black one. We'll try it. You think I'd be allowed to do this?
Go for it, Stan. Go for
We'll
it.
go for it. This will actually show you how not to do it. I'm not mentioning any names or anything like that.
No, you're not.
For the
Stan.
cost, I am not saying a single word.
Of course, because we would never say.
I would never say. It could just as easily have been a parsley and thyme that picked up there. Let's have a look at this one and see what it's like. This one's in for a repair with a no-name rod with a handle falling off it.
But before we do that, Stan, would you say how much that rod would have cost when it was
I have no idea, but certainly a damn sight more than this one. Mainly on marketing. Oh, do you mean how would it cost overseas where it's made? Probably $30.
No, but if I had to go and buy a rod like that
I don't know.
today from that same
Hundreds.
hundreds.
So it should be nicely spined. So let's try it. Boof. That one's shot over to the right. That should be sitting there. I'm doing nothing, it's just spinning itself. Spinning itself round. It's not a lot, but it's not spined. And it does have a pretty wee plug for the end.
Oh, well, that makes it.
That makes all the difference. The middle section. Again, a wee plug, how lovely. Catapult. There we are. That's where it should be. When I bend down, it should be there. Boof. So we've got one bit of the rod wanting to go that way. The next bit's wanting to go further that way. Wonderful as far as casting goes. Simply for the sake of spining the rod.
Stan, can you explain to people a badly spined rod, what will happen compared to a properly spined rod?
Well, as I say, it's a can of worms, but if I want to cast to that corner and my rod's torquing and twisting, then it could end up, say that corner was 20 yards away or whatever, it could, one part of the rods want to go there, the other parts want to go over here. It's twisting, you also get bits of the blank loosening when that happens. It's simply, it's not right. Do the job right. It's as simple as that to find the spine. That's it. That's the spine found. So what I want to do is mark it. Not difficult, that's the amount of time it takes. In fact, if we're clever, which we're not, a bit of tape round it, and I've no idea where the spine is at the moment. There's wee marks on there. For no other reason, it'll let you see what's happening with the rod. Smooth surface, it'll not work if you do it in like a carpet or something like that. If you concentrate on that, you can see it turning. Spinning away. All I'm doing is pushing down it. It's turning away. It's in that one. That mark there. That's good, I can let that go. I don't worry too much about 1 degree, 2 degrees, but when you start getting so a lot of them I get in here, they're 45 degrees out. It's ridiculous. People paying good money. The exact same with the middle section. Again, it's not difficult to do. That's spinning a fair wee bit. Let's have there. Just pressing down on it. Holding it. That. I'll do it in that one, but it's not important down here, it's pretty stiff. Yeah, there's no spine, that's just stiff. That's what two main ones. That's what the main sort of action of the rod is. Right, having done that, I should have done it earlier and glued the tip guide on. We need to glue the tip guide on just now. Some people use hot melt glue. A lot of bother with it. other people crack up because you don't use hot melt. Oh, it's too difficult to get it off, too difficult. It's not too difficult to get it off when it's 80, 90 degrees outside and the hot melt decides to go. Your tip guide goes flying. 2-pack. It's not difficult to take them back off, regardless of what people might tell you. And I'm just going to gently roughen that end up, very, very gently, just to loosen the finished varnish. Again, spinning it on. The handle. AAA Portuguese. That one's that's not the one we put there on. That one's AAA Portuguese. Nothing at the end. But the place I showed you at the dryer, they can take this out. They can recess it. Cost you about £2, £2.50. They can recess that out to take a real seat if the real seat needs recessed. Some don't. Alps are not designed to be recessed. It's a thing like that. You're not going to buy it anywhere. That was made. That's made out of titanium. So you ain't going to buy it. I've got a good friend who's an engineer. Got it made out of titanium. 2 different sizes there. The cutter, and that is exactly that bore. He's very good. Precision engineer. And that just sits in there. You can see it. There's no recess for the thing. Now there is, fully recessed. Ready to accept a real seat that's got in there. That's it. Obviously, a couple of different sizes. The blank, you could well feel lucky for it to fit in that bore in there, which is, from memory, it's 5mm or something, 6. So you got reamers. You just put it in, as I say, when they come, you can either use it in a cordless drill, or you've got a wee, it's like a file handle that fits on there, and you can just literally ream it out by hand. Take your time. Other people use sections of threaded rod, but that doesn't give you a taper. These are tapered. Something to make bits of blank, bits of dowel. You can shape anything you can make them out of. Next thing is the handle. The real seat's well glued on by now. So the real seat's well. Adhesive's gone now, it's well serrated. So if some of them are very, very smooth, you've got to score them a wee bit. But that one's fine. I get these from Mickett's bloke rods as well. Did this last night, reamed it out. I'll show you that in a minute. And the cutter, and that's it ready in its position. Just doing this so I know where to put the adhesive. I'm going to give that a wee quick roughen up. Just take the shine right off it. Bring my famous brown bit paper back out. I've been using that for other things now, that blade, so I'll just stick that on it so as I know it's been a used blade. I'll use it for threads. Same adhesive. exact same adhesive as used for the, what do you call it, the reel seat, Flex Coat. Lots of different ones on the market. One's as good as the next one. I just happen to use Flex Coat all the time. For all the chemicals I use are Flex Coat. It's sort of trade standard. It's been around for years. I see them in forums, some of them. Well, I can't use this one, I can't use that, it goes off too quick, and especially when it comes to the putting the resin over the top of the threads. I can't use this, I can't use that, can't use the next thing. Personally, I don't see the difference. It's not the same, it's not the same material. It's just in a different container. But if somebody's got it in their mind that they like a particular thing, then good. You'll notice I'm not putting this glue everywhere. I'm just kind of dabbing it on. It's a good fit to the blank, you know, the taper. If I put it everywhere, it'll just shove off. So again, twist it on. Good twist on it. And the big companies never do. Just put a wee bit onto the reel seat. So it's that very, very thin bit of cork there, so that gives it a bit of strength. The big companies, you'll gather I hate the big companies. Detest them with vengeance. I put them alongside bankers and politicians. I'll not mention Lenny's favourite. Slide it, not all the way up, just almost all the way up, so you can take the excess glue off. Otherwise it'll spill out over it. Job done, reel seat, handle on. Because of the tapers, slight build up there needed. I'm just going to clean that up. And I can't find anything because Lenny's got a big stupid camera stuck there. You know.
It's always my fault.
Absolutely.
Always my fault.
Wee gap there, nothing big deal. Wee dentist tools, they sell them as road building tools. They're no, they're dentist tools, but people are happy. Just filling in that wee area there. Again, a lot of people don't bother being as finicky as this. There's a winding check will go in there, so you'd never see that wee gap, but I know it's there, so why not fix it? There's a bin in there, that's what I keep throwing it into. Right, that's all we can do with that at the moment. Take the sawdust off. Again, that's got to lie there now. The wee bit at the end where the butt cap goes, I'll leave that at the moment to the very last, because if it goes into the lathe for putting in on up here, don't want it you don't want the lathe, the jaws of the lathe to damage the cork. I'm just going to put that one there. Save it sliding up and down. No other reason for that, obviously. Got to sit, wait that dry out now, end off. So the handle's on, we've got a small winding check. This one's rubber, it's not plastic, it's rubber. You get you get tarts, I'll not mention any names, Lenny.
Whoa.
You get total tackle tarts.
Whoa!
Who have got to have fancy coloured or metal or all, but personally I think they are garbage. The colour might be pretty, but the aluminium does not seal unless you get 1,000,000 to 1 chance where it's perfect. That expands slightly, so I push it down, it's rubber, that's it tight, and now I've got a good seal. Not suitable for the tarts, I know, but they're in the minority. As I said before, I'm a dinosaur, I'm more interested in something being practical. It's just a winding check, it's simply, there'll be a hook keeper going on here, and it is simply a finish. Serves no other purpose. Tarps like them fancy, coloured, reds, blues, greens, made out of all metallic things. I prefer it practical, i.e. seals. End of story. But Disney seal, water goes down inside. Water goes down inside. I spend half my life replacing handles. That's it. That's going to sit there now and dry off. Right, we left this tip guide on a wee while ago. The spine mark was there. I've left it just to the adhesive starting to go. And just a slight adjustment. Now that's it. When that rod is bent, fighting mode, it'll be underneath. So we're on the concave side. That's it fine now. We can leave that just to finally set off. Okay, tip guide's the adhesive set on that now. I've readjusted it very, very slightly. So I've now got it perfectly on the spine of the rod. The next thing's to set the guides out. And I don't mention David Woods, but he was wanting to know how I find the guide positions.
Is David Woods on the forum?
Yes.
Dave Woods?
Dave Woods.
On SDF forum?
Yes.
Alright, so Dave, we're not going to talk about you, we're not going to tell you how to do it.
Well, basically you're right, because I've built up guide positions over something like 50 years practice. I've got 3 lots of different guide positions and they're based on the action of the rod. Action, again, it's a can of worms, the action of the rod. Could be fast action, could be middle to tip action, could be a full through action, parabolic, whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, I don't know if Lenny can do this, up towards the ceiling. I put the rod together, that's just the bottom 3 sections because there's no bend in the bottom. Put the rod together, bend it like that, and that is, it's actually between mid to tip. It's fairly fast, but it's mid to tip action. That's all I need to know. I've then got them all written down based on the actions. But what's written down has been built up over years. So I'm taking that apart. I don't want it apart, I want it together. And I've got the spine mark there and there. Didn't bother with that, it was too stiff. Extend the bench a wee bit, as you do. Right. All I'm doing up this end, I don't know if Lenny wants to see it or no. A bit of insulating tape. Spine up the way, or the tip guide up, pointing up to the ceiling. And I'll just lock the other end as well. There's going to be roughly 10 guides on this. Well, not roughly, there's maybe exactly 10 guides on it. Spacings, sorry to say, have been worked out over many, many years. They're all written down here. I'll work on a 10-foot 2-piece. The fact that it's a 10-foot 4-piece doesn't make slight small difference, we just adjust. Guides here, heavy duty snakes. Entirely up to yourself, whether you work in inches, millimetres, whatever. I work to the nearest, so it could be in inches there and then change to millimetres there because it's the closest one to it. Right, and to set the spacings out, these spacings I've been known about for years. I wouldn't like to tell you how many years, 30 years, 40 years. Don't care if Andy knows them. Kenny, Lenny was just asking me that, you're going to tell it. It's how I found these spacings. By trial and error over many years, literally years ago, 40, 50 years ago. So I'm working here, 4, 9.5, 16, we're in inches, and that's to the centre of the guide. 4, 9.5, 16, 24, excuse me. Now these, that lot there, they're actually important guides. Hereafter, because it's a 4-piece rod, if I happen to be falling on a joint, I'll just adjust it very slightly. They're the important ones. I'll adjust slightly. 24, 33 and a half, all in inches. 33 and a half there, that's not too bad actually. 33 and a half, 43. 53 and a half. And then we're back to working from the joint again. So it's 4 and a half. What I'm going to do first is mark these. Just a pen. I always mark the bottom guide foot. That way I always know what my marks are. Somebody might mark the top. Pointless mark in the middle, because once it's on you can't take the mark off, or very difficult. The way I've set these spacings out a long time ago, it's based on a two-piece, so it's actually marked on, it's 4 and a half. We'll go back to the, taking it for the tip of that joint, which I know is there. So we'll cheat. It's 4 and a half from there. When you get down as far as this, it might sound daft. If it looks right, it is right. It's as simple as that. I'll double check that. Oh, 10 and a half. So doing that 4 and a half makes it 10. So we'll make it to 11. And then we have 11. For the strippers, we'll go 11 and a half. We'll take that 11 and a half again, which is what, 23. I'll just mark it the right way. Take it to 12. Now, what we've got, I'm coming back up here. This is a guide, rule of thumb. It's the handle. That's the first stripper guide, so there'll be nothing on this one. As a rule of thumb, round figures, to the first stripper guide, from the centre of the rail seat to the first guide, which will effectively be there, depends on the length of the rod, approximately 27 to 32 inches, there or thereabouts. So it's going to come to there, by the time the section's in, it's 24 3/4. And we take it up another 27 and a half, bang on. That was just a guess, but it worked. I wonder how. I'll mark these last two and then we can dismantle the rod, put all the guides back. And then it's down to actually, I'll show you these stripper guides first. So as I don't get mixed up, you'll see there's a wee push tack in there, it's basic. I really love high-tech stuff. My mobile phone's got buttons on it, I ain't kidding. Just to let me know where the tip is and where the bottom is, so I always start putting the guides in at the tip. Somebody did that up today, shows the last picture you took in your, last picture you put in your phone.
Last fishing picture on
Aye.
your phone.
Well, whatever, aye. I genuinely, I don't trust these things. I've got a phone there. I've got one upstairs. I've got one in the living room. It's called a landline. The last time I found my mobile, well, I didn't have to get Moira to find it. I hadn't seen it in over a year because I only use it at night in Fuerteventura when I'm fishing rocks, purely for safety. It had 700 messages and I told her delete a lot. If people can't pick a landline, I don't want to know. Can't take a picture. I've got a thing upstairs for that. It's not a modern invention, it's quite an old thing. It's called a camera. That takes pictures. I never intend to be a zombie. I nearly kill about 10 each week when I'm driving, walking along the road like that. Zombies.
Camera stand, they'll never catch on.
Yeah.
Never catch on.
Never catch on. You'd be impressed, it's quite a good one actually. It's got a fancy Panasonic lens and everything. Right, everyone's ready to build a rod now. And Dave Woods is still stumped as to how you get the guide position. Oh, can't swear. Sorry, Lenny says I'm not to swear. You're
We don't use that word.
I know. World's full of them.
It's an Americanism.
I don't care. All right. We'll call them. Right, threads. It's a bit dull and boring because on this one it's going to be black.
What? Black on black?
Black on black. With an occasional bit of blue just round about the joints and the stripper guide. They're minimas. They've been around for a long time. That's obviously bigger. They're Pacific Bay minimas. I've already fitted them to salmon rods for the guy. He loves them. Unlike a normal guide that's got an agi or a ceramic centre to it, which is a hell of a lot of you know. If you break that when you're fishing, that's your day finished. Minima, it has got a centre. You'd be struggling to see it. It's stainless steel centre. When you're out fishing, car door, whatever, deform it completely as if it was a car door or whatever. Fish away. The rest of your day's fishing. You can't shred a line or nothing. I mean, you get it at night, you get the pliers out and put it back into shape again. They're brilliant for that. They're horrible for the braid. If you're using braid a lot, they're not very good. They do tend to groove. Full Wells handle. I have no intentions of buying all the wee cork chives, which I can do. Loads and loads of cork chives. And putting them onto that, the time it takes, then shaping it all down when I can buy it ready made. That's a AAA Portuguese cork. A lot better than the big boys put on. That one there, I did. It's a specialist boat rod, this one. It's what's called an acid wrap. Where the guides start on the top and then spiral their way to the underneath. Spiral wrap. So that one is made out of these chives. Well, coloured corks. As you can see, it's still to be all rubbed in. The guy just wants a slight taper here, slight taper there, and then he's got a sliding fitting of some sort. When we get them to about 30mm diameter, smooth, lovely, he'll put the reel seat on himself. But you can, no intentions of doing it. Wasting time rubbing corks down when I can buy perfectly adequate corks, handles ready made. Remember, this is aimed at yourselves. DIY guys, prepared to have a go at this themselves using basically the tools you've got in the house, or without being expensive. You're not going to a fortune out there. I've got lathes galore, bench presses, got lathes behind, there's drying machines here, everything. You don't need all that. Oh, no for a one-off. But we'll do the cork later on, a spare bit of cork. It's really now down to doing the thread, and I'm trying to think of an easy way to show you this. The thread, we'll do a mention of name later. Lenny says you can edit it. You've got three sizes, roughly three sizes in thread. A, B, C and D. A is the thinnest, D is the thickest, obviously, works its way through. On this one, on the tip, I'll be using A. I might move to a C at the bottom end. D I don't use an awful lot actually, it's too thick. But we're using the A on it, and a blue trim band at the joints, just slight trim bands at the joints, but you're not going to see this very easily, simply because what do you call it? Simply because it's on it's black on black. There are a lot of ways to do it. The time I've taken to see all this, I could have built the rod by now. The rod we already got it varnished by now. It just takes a long time to explain it all. Fly rods. I specialise in big game rods, marlin, tuna, stuff like that. They're done on a lathe. They're done on the lathe. The rod lathe behind Lenny there. The rod lathe is far too powerful for a fly rod, so these are literally done by hand. Literally. Maybe the very bottom end will do it on the lathe, just to get the keeper guide on. But they're literally done by hand. simply because the lath's too powerful. The big game rod's a rod, oh, there's one. Tuna rod. That is size A thread. That there. And you can imagine the time and the effort to do all that by hand. You'd be there forever. You know, on a thread that size. Lots of people do. If you're not in a rush, then by all means you can do it by hand. Without sounding smart, for this wee workshop here, although I'm a dinosaur, I've built up a customer base of about 3,000-4,000 over 40 odd years. When it comes to big game stuff, there is no close season. Small hole-in-the-wall workshop, and I sell rods into 13 different countries. Salmon rods to Alaska, big game rods to Canary Islands, Portugal, Italy, spinning rods, there's one ready to get started over there, it's going to Norway, all over the place, Angola, sell them into Africa. So I don't have the time to stand and do all this by hand. Apart from that, I don't have the hands to do it now with arthritis. So they're done by hand. They're all done in the lathe. Doing this by hand, well, people will use all sorts of methods of doing it. Quite a lot of guys, I know. I'm not going to go out there and dig one out. They got a cardboard box, probably about this length. Cut a V out it, and that sits in there for them to turn it. You know, absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it at all. I went very high tech because you know you can obviously buy things for this. You can buy tensioners. They have tensioners with it's like something that goes on the space shuttle. There's bits coming out here and bits coming there and springs and I don't know what it's all about. But it's to tension the threads. I've got 10 tensioners, 5 in each feckin' hand. Simple as that. Why I need all that garbage I don't know. And big other things to hold the rod. Well, there's your high tech. Dod of wood, 2 wee nails, bit of knicker elastic, job done. That sits there. Knicker elastic, or whatever elastic it is, I don't know. Over there to hold it. Sorted. That's it. What more do you need? I don't know what more I need. And I do something like, nowadays I'm semi-retired, I'm still doing 300 of these bloody things a year. That's all that's needed. And as I say, all the tensioners, whoa. You could buy things for them. I went high tech again. Dod of wood, dod of blank, job done. What more I need, I do not know. But, as I said, unlike other people who are not too far away, I'm no tart.
No, it's art.
I prefer things to be practical. Right, we'll start off. There's always, you'll see a wee bit of thread beneath all the tip guides and rods. It doesn't actually serve a purpose, it's just a wee bit of embellishment, you know. I suppose it seals it. Well, forgot it. I don't use these a lot. It's a wee loop. I'm going to be popular. It's the best use I can find for fluorocarbon. That's garbage stuff. Fluorocarbon. It's for making wee loops. Bit of fluorocarbon. No other use on this earth for fluorocarbon. Hate it with a vengeance. Hate it more than I hate mobiles. It's one insulating tape. Job done. I don't use that method. I only made these up for showing for the video. And I'll show you how to put this on, take it off and everything else over at the lathe when Lenny moves when he moves the camera. It's just too big to fit into everything. It's only a small workshop. That's the whole thing. This bit, for any of you know, this bit's kept sealed. Well, when I say sealed, sealed door. And it's for clean stuff like this. Adhesives, anything to do with rubbing down cork and things like that is done outside, the door closed. This is kept clean and for drying. That's the first bit of thread on. I'll do the first snake and then there's not much more we can do it because you simply won't see it. I'll show you what I'm doing. You know, people have always asked, how do you put the thread on, how do you put it off, all that sort of stuff. I can show you that on a different coloured thread over there. Pink scissors, love it. That's what you get when you get your wife to get you a pair of scissors, pink. Not allowed to say that nowadays, are I? Take pride in your work. Oh, did you get that one? Take pride in your work.
I'll be a first.
Oh, sorry, Lenny. My apologies. My apologies. Poor Nicola. Right. I marked these at the bottom. So the bottom foot, I marked the bottom foot, sits on there. I'm not too worried about lining it up now. In fact, I don't care. As long as it's more or less the same axis. They'll all line up at the end of the day. Bit insulating tape on the front.
Hold on. Do you explain what you're doing though?
Hey?
Just explain what you're...
I can't explain it really, Lenny. I'll need to show you it when you move the camera.
Aye.
But the exact same, we'll just do it in a bigger guide and with a different colour, you know.
We can actually work it, we can actually see it. So
All fly rods are done like, they're done by hand.
you're
Nothing
basi-
done in the lathe. How this all started out was a couple of weeks ago, me mentioning people have been able to take off a guide. We're letting we're going to move the camera, so just while it's in this position, how to take off a guide and replace a guide. Right. Might as well do that while I'm sitting here. I'm not doing any more of that today. I'll show you how to put the threads on and all that sort of stuff and sort the corks out. Because that is just a continuation of what I did. But we'll do this one today. You'll be able to see it up close. It's a broken guide, it's in for a repair, whatever's happened to it, I don't know. Shimano rod, I think, whatever. Heat the guide while it's turning. Not the guide. Heat the resin. It's 2-part polymer resin. Now, a lot of people, what I should tell you is go above. The guide foot's there. The guide foot's underneath there. That's the replacement. So what I'm cutting is above the metal, so you don't damage it. I don't do it. I just whack it off. Simple as that. I've done that many thousands of times in my life. I just do it. I've never damaged a blank yet. But I'd get wrong for telling you to do that. That and the thread under it peels off. Bit more heat. You can see there the guide foot. See what it was. Go to the side that time. That's the old guide off. That's all it takes. Obviously, the slimmer the rod, the more careful you've got to be. Just last week I had to do it with 4 big game rods for a charter boat. Shimano rods, I think they were. We're getting a hell of an abuse. This can happen on a boat. Pain in the backside to take them off. There's that off. That's all there is to taking the guide off. We'll put the new one on afterwards because I'll show you all how to put threads on first. Right, over at the lathe now to show you how to put these threads on. It's just an old broken job lots galore out there I get. They come in handy at times. Stick it in the lathe, tighten the lathe up.
But can you say at this point that you don't have to have a lathe, you can do it in the cardboard box that
To say I'm sitting at lathe, just because that, if I'm doing it small, but as I said earlier, the cardboard box, anything will do it. It's just this is convenient to show you. And I'll use the wee loops as well. It's not even a rod building thread, I have no idea what it is. It was something that was in the box, so we'll just use that, it's merely a contrast. So, even Lenny was asking me, do I put a half hitch in or something like that to start it? Now, any thread going on, any guide, doesn't matter if it's in a 2-weight nymphing rod or a 130-pound Marlin chair rod, they all start and finish the same. Some people do it backside for it, it depends, you're left-handed, right-handed, whatever. That's going under there, and all I'm doing, the main one, I'm just bringing it over it and trapping it. So it's trapped. I read things in forums that you've got to go over it 20 times or 10 times or something like that. Just trapped in there. So much as it needs, 4 or 5 turns. And you can hold that there and do it with the scissors, or me, I tend to just do it with the blade. Don't do any harm to anything. So that's the thread on. Now we'll make a pigget to show you how to fix it. I'm just using the lathe now for speed. Right, we'll put a few gaps in it. Gaps. I guarantee you'll get them. It's quite difficult to make a mistake when you're not wanting to. The wee loops, let's say that was the end of our thread. Your loop underneath, oops. So as that main end goes over it, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 tons. Trap it. Cut. And put that through the loop. I find it easier to do the other way, just without the loop. All I'm doing is pulling that loop back through, which will pull the end through. Job done. Now I made a piggy. I left marks in the middle, which you can't have. So, the famous chopstick. This chopstick's been in more forums and rod tutorials than I care to think of. It's bone. Had it for 30 years. Don't use a plastic one, and don't use wood. If needs be, use a wee bit of metal as a burnishing tool. That's what that's actually meant to be for, a load of rubbish. That's what they say it's for. Go towards the thick bit of the taper of the rod. Don't go towards the thin, or it'll break up on you. And you're just burnishing it.
You do it again, but bring your hand down. I know it's maybe not the way you do it like that.
Alright.
Just do that
I
again.
had it all fixed there, and he told me to move my hand, so if I had to make a mistake again, there you go. Hey?
Couldn't you see it?
Not my fault you can't see it. I can see it, and I've only got one eye.
Tell us what you're doing again.
Right, I've had to make more mistakes, because he made me stop. And a hand's got to go down here. Or it was a dwarf. The direction, towards the thicker part. Just burnishing it. Basically just rubbing it in. That's it, that's got rid of all the bad bits. Simple as that. Don't know what else I can show you with that, to be honest. Right, we've done as much as we can do with that rod at the moment. I'll run into types of thread and stuff afterwards. That's the one I stripped the guide off earlier. Now obviously I don't want to damage that by putting it in the lathe, so it's any old bits that fit. Broken bits are blank. Tape that in. And then it's the old broken bit that goes into the lathe. So this is the one that was, we stripped the single leg guide off after, earlier. Putting in the lathe because I've got to rub that down. You'll not have a lathe at home, although people have watched some of these tutorials and that and went out and bought all this stuff. It's not unusual. But if you're doing it at home, a bit of sandpaper. Nothing fancy. You don't get rod building sandpaper, regardless of what they tell you on eBay. You don't get rod building insulating masking tape either, regardless of what some of them sell. Look, it's a con. Ordinary joiner sandpaper. And we'll varnish this today. And that, as Lenny says, that's everything done. You saw how to do the snake guide with the taping it on with the insulating tape. Single legs I do a wee bit different. In fact, Mick at Bloke Rods mentioned it. Oh, I saw him putting a single leg guide on. He uses the tape, nothing wrong with that at all. And he even said other folk will use hot melt and stuff like that. I use hot melt with single legs. That's just to get the old resin. In fact, we were just talking about that 2 minutes ago there before I started this. Lenny brought it up. That earlier on, that's it. Doing that at home, you need to do it by hand. Tough. Life's a bitch. And you marry one. Hey.
So that's just a cloth with myths on it again?
Ah, it's just an old, I don't know what it is, one of her old blouses or something like that. Again, you can buy, you can buy cloths for it. You can buy rod building cloths. Goody.
But yet again, just methylated spirits.
Aye. Meths, job done. But as I say, some of the meths you get is wishy-washy. It's a hell of a light colour. You get it in the pound shops, they're rubbish. Get the decent stuff at the Screwfix. Now I'm putting this roughly on top. I'm not lining it up, I've got sections in that, I can stop it, couldn't be bothered to be honest. Now with that one I could tape it. You'll see, actually this is a brand new guide. You'll see I've tapered the edge of it down. Smooth that so as I got a, I don't know if you can pick that up. I've got a nice smooth transition of the thread against it.
Just hold that there, hold that there. Yep.
Okay. And it's nice and smooth as opposed to what? That's a guide that hasn't been done yet. And you can see the sudden bump, both ends. So if I was to take the thread over that, I'd got a sudden bump, and that's when the resin goes on. That's when you get cracking. It cracks. And we were just talking about that, as I started to say there, I remembered. That, which we'll put the hand on the reel seat on, that's epoxy. I'm going to be doing this in the next wee while. That is epoxy. Don't get mixed up, that's an adhesive. What goes over the thread is this. Same company. High Build, Rod Wrap and Finish. It is a resin. It's not an epoxy. It's a polymer resin. I buy it in that size. And then I decant it into these. It's a good excuse for eating mussels or cockles. I decant it into that and I'm going to have to squeeze by you because... Ah no, sorry. Don't need to worry. It just makes it easier to use in syringes. You don't have to buy it, that's half gallon. You can buy it in small packs that's smaller than that. Buy me packs like that. Or you can actually buy 2 syringes that are full. 2 actual syringes full of 12cc or whatever it is. millilitres, cc's, I don't know, foreign anyway, millilitres. They're not that, but it's the same stuff, they're not that expensive. Anyway, it's resin. Right, now that one is big enough. That could actually be taped on the same as a snake guide. I could tape that on. But if I was down to that one, which is going onto a pike rod, it wouldn't be so easy to tape it on and still leave room to get it started. You could do it, of course you do it. And that one, the tutorial with Mick Bell done, that's what he did. Absolutely fine, no hassle. I just prefer it this way. It's hot melt, standard hot melt. Just heat the bottom of the, not too much for obvious reasons. Heat the bottom of the guide. Not too much. Give it a wipe. Stick it on. Of course you burn your fingers, but you need to toughen up. Stop being he says I've not to call you toughen up, burn your hands, who cares? It's on my finger. Right. That's what I want. And just for badness, just to be annoying, as I like to be annoying.
It's not like you being honest.
Just to be annoying. We'll tape it on as well.
So basically the hot glue or the tape is only to position it while you
Just holds it while you're wrapping it. So that was the other way to do it. Because it's bigger. You know, it's got a big long foot. Wouldn't it be so easy to do it in that small one I showed you, you know? That's it in position. I'm not too worried if it's, that was another one Dave would ask me, how you line them up. No, you just sight them. I've seen some people who should remain nameless that say they line them up with lasers. Really? I've yet to see an angler get a rod and get a laser out. It's like certain tarts who, who want line-up marks on their rod. Give me peace. You get the line-up dots, wee line-up dots. I've done them, I've done wee footballers and everything for line-up dots. Then once you line them all up, the line-up mark's only as good as my eye. And I say the word eye because I'm completely blind in that one, right?
That explains a lot.
Exactly. Completely blind in it. So you line them up by eye. So once you've got all the wee line-up marks on, beautiful. And then I've seen them do it a million times. Then they turn around in the river bank and line them up by eye. Stupid nonsense. Stupid nonsense. Right, thread. What we got? We'll use seeing this. Another point in the thread, I'll tell you about threads in a wee minute because there are a lot of different types and it can cause all sorts of problems. I don't know how you're going to get that because I'm right down here, Lenny. You get
It's fine, go for it.
because I've got to hold my hands a certain amount, a certain way. Same again, coming the opposite direction this time. I've got an apprentice who's actually a bloody good rod builder. He started at about, well, I don't know, must be 12 years ago. He came over here. And I've got about 30 odd apprentices, including a guy in Sicily and one in Canada, internet apprentices. And he hadn't a clue how to even put the thread on. He didn't know how to start it or stop it, but he wanted to do it. And he now runs a good wee business. Must be doing it 12 years. He cannot work in both directions. That last one I done, the wee bit of yellow, I went up that way. Sorry if you're listening, Roscoe. I went up that way, and now I'm coming down that way. He can't do it, he's got to turn the rod. He can only work in one direction. Don't ask me why. Dummy. Remain voter. Right, so that's going the exact same way but in the opposite direction. I'm just doing this by hand. Same as you would with your wooden box or whatever. You get it onto the point, and if I've made that nice and smooth, she's got a lovely transition over it. There we are. Now that's it trapped. I can take that off now as well. I know I've got hot melt under it, you know. I'll do this and it'll probably fly off. And the advantage of a lathe is it's quicker to screw it up, the lathe. I've left you mistakes again. I'll use this don't like using it, but I'll use it. Put your thread, put your what do you call it? Your wee loop of fluorocarbon, because it's not any good for anything else. It's like the wee rings he puts in flies and things like that. Load of nonsense. Load of old tripe. Learn to tie a bloody knot. Do it underneath.
You know I can tie a knot.
Aye. Do it underneath. Wet my fingers, because that sets up static electricity on the nylon thread. And it'll go over everywhere if you don't wet your fingers. It's through the loop. Do it underneath. Where the thread goes up and over the guide there's a tunnel. And if you do that up there, it'll just come off. Little 40 bits. So we'll turn that up to there. Job done, and I've left you mistakes. Yeah, mainly because he was talking to me. Burnishing the rig of there.
The hand a wee bit lower, so we can see.
Just getting rid of all the wee mistakes. I've got a mate down in Gateshead, superb rod builder. His name's Stan as well, funnily enough. He keeps one thumb nail longer than the other for doing that way, for burnishing. Wee tag end there, wee tiny bit, so we'll just burn it off. And that's the guide on, finished. As quick as that. Take a fraction longer to do it by hand, but not much. If I hadn't been talking, manoeuvring cameras and doing all that, apart from resin, that fly rod there that we started this morning, we'll get you a picture of it when it's finished. That would have been long done, but it would have been in varnishing by now. So that is effectively it. All that's ready for now is resin. And for that, Lenny's going to have to rearrange the camera again. Sighting it, or lining it up. Simple as that. Well, what can I say? Sorry, Dave. Honest spottest. Right, thread. I started to say there, if it had been a coloured thread I was using, I would need to have sealed it. Because threads, you get different types. They're not the same threads you use for flies. I know I like to tie flies. They're nylon threads, varying sizes, and they get names like, that one's nylon. Well, they're all nylon, but that one's marked as nylon. That one's marked as colour fast, which means it's an NCP thread. All different sorts of name. I haven't got any handy there, doesn't matter. It's an NCP thread, colour fast. It'll hold, in other words, it'll hold its colour. That blue, when I put resin on it, will stay that colour. It will stay. It will darken down a fraction. Obviously black, you can't get any darker than black. But if that was a coloured thread, I would need to use either a colour fast NCP, whatever you want to call it, or I would need to coat it with that, which is colour preserver and thread sealer. I use, on coloured threads, I use colour fast NCP all the time. I don't need that. Where I do that, the other thing you get is you get metallic threads. They're all size, or they get size A and bigger. I want to use A. Metallic thread, it doesn't matter what the colour is, you get blues, reds, yellows, all sorts of metallics. They're only used for under wraps. That means go underneath the guide. They're used as an under wrap and then the main wrap goes over. I refuse to use them over the top of a guide. I know the big companies do, I'm sorry, they are wrong. I know some rod builders not too far do it as well. Wrong. That's a covering over a thin nylon thread, and given time that will stretch and that covering will all crack up because it goes over the guide. It's only used in that application. for going underneath. And then obviously there'll be a colour, but in this case it'll be blue over the top. That gets coated with that colour preserver. No to preserve its silver colour, to stop it moving about. If I go over the top, it would just all move. So, as it says on it, thread sealer, it seals it, stops it from moving. But I will not, or if you've been asked to do it, I refuse to do it. I'd rather lose the order and put a metallic thread over the top. But that's the threads you get. A, B, C, D. Colourfast, NCP, Stay True, all different names for them. But if it says nylon, you bet your bottom dollar it will darken. I can actually show you a very easy one. Threads, if you ever get into doing it in any of the threads galore, and they're all every colour known to man. And they're all kept in boxes so that the dust stays off them. I don't want dust on them. You want a perfect finish. Now, a good example of it darkening is that ruby red. I like it. Right, that's ruby red, but it's nylon. If I don't treat that, well, I get that for a reason, because it matches a colour. The amount of repairs I do, and I like to have a lot of stock. Not that I do a lot of repairs of rods in that colour, you know. Don't do very much at all. Anyway, if I don't seal that, it'll darken. And if Lenny was clever, he would turn around and he would pick up, somebody commented, I think it's that same troublemaker, that Dave Woods, when I said I only one rod. I have 10-foot 6-way. See if you turn behind you now, Lenny.
Oh, I can't see that.
Hey, no, you, just give me the rod. No.
This one.
Aye, mine.
This one.
Right, this is my own personal rod. The only fly rod I've got, and I can use that for nymphing. I can use that for grouse fishing. I can use that for anything. I don't need 17 different rods.
What, do you know of a switch rod?
Switch, load of it'll be like cart boys soon with switch knickers. That's the same thread. And you can see how it's darkened in.
Just hold that and it's tiny. Focus up on it. Right, hold on, just hold that there.
There's that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hold that there, he says, as the bishop said to the actress. Right, it's a burgundy blank. Again, as near as, if I'm not told what to do, or dictated to, I like to match the hatch. In other words, blue blank, blue thread, green blank, green thread, so on and so forth. In this case, it's burgundy, and that's as near as I was going to get. But that's the same thread without a colour preserver. That's the difference it makes. And you can imagine the horrendous difference it would make if you were to put a yellow or a white on, you know. So anyway, that's the type of threads. You watch, you don't break that there now. Oh, let me see. Oh yes, you got to show. Oh,
You're giving me an idea for my next rod.
your next road. Is that still recording?
Your belt course it is.
What? I'm a tart. You'll not see it.
Just, yeah, well, hold on. Just put it side on.
No, shut up.
Oh, what you like?
For the tarts,
Yeah.
there's a crack there. Brand new reel seat, but it had a crack in it. Simply because I put a reamer down it and I pushed too hard and I cracked it. I thought, no bin in it, they're not cheap. Who do I know it's not a tart? I thought, me. Are the fish going to mind? No. So it got walloped on there. And the handle in this case was made out of, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4 different broken bits of cork out my drawer out there. Walloped them on. Are the fish going to mind? No. And having said all that, I can buy any blank literally in the world. I can get it from New Zealand, I can get it from America, I get Thomas & Thomas, Winston, Sage, Hardy, Grays, you name it. That's my own personal rod. And remember, I can get all these things trade. It's on a bloke blank for Mick. I cannot beat it. Thank you. That's it. I'll be sending you an invoice, Mr. Bell, for advertising bloke rods. It's literally varnish that one we've just put on. I don't need a colour preserver on it because it's black. It's not going to go any darker than black, you know. What I do need is something on it that I can put into the dryers. I'll show you the dryers in a wee minute. Which is something well, you do need, I suppose. You're struggling to do it without a dryer. You can. The resin, that stuff we're going to use. I set it in a timer here for 5 hours. You can sit, I know one guy does it, I used to, he's retired for it now. He used to sit and do that. Every 10 minutes or so, he'd give it a quarter of a turn and read a book while he was doing it. A lot more patience than I've got, I can assure you. I know bit something fit into that. Stupid. Oh, that's too big, so we'll just make it, I'll make the diameter bigger. Right, that's fine. Now, dryers. If you thought you might do 1 or 2 rods, it could be worth it. Don't know if they're in there, Hopkins and Holloway. I use them a lot. I'm not saying they're the best. I'm not saying they're the big. Well, they are the biggest in Britain. But you've got them, Cotswold rods, Pacific Bay, Russ Simons at Black Dog Tackle. All do you good components. But it just come into my mind if it's aye. Don't know if you can see that or no. DIY rod building. There's a wee rod dryer there, Fuji. I don't think it's that exceptionally dear. I've got a feeling it's about 40 quid, maybe 50 quid. Stonefly used to do one as well. More than ample if you're only going to maybe doing 2 or 3 yards a year. Save you a lot of time hanging about. Mine's a wee bit more elaborate than that, which we'll use now. I'll show you a wee Fuji dryer there. Mine's a wee bit more elaborate. But I know quite a few folk that use the wee Fuji and they say it's fine for occasional rods. Never tried it, so I can't comment. First thing I need to do, my tensioners, as you saw on my hands. I get grease, everybody's got grease in their hand. So the same, wee drop of meths, and then don't touch it again. The dryers are sealed. Saw a cracking picture 2 days ago on Facebook. Some poor rod builder who hasn't got a sealed dryer woke up to find a big wasp stuck in his resin the next day. I thought, oh well, okay. Right, it's on the old fascia board. Fascia board for ruin your roof. Made up some high-tech hinge. That's even better than Lenny's seat box.
That's my shaky box.
Hey, that's better than your shaky box. Don't talk tripe. That lifts out, and the other half lifts out. Don't need the other half, so we'll just lift the one. Without touching the thread. I can do 4 at a time in here. Also use it at times for painting. It's got 4 sliding heads like that sit in, move up and down, whatever. As you say, do it for painting. Don't know what one's turning at the moment. Got a timer. They're all turning. So we'll get switches out here. 1 off, 2 off, that one off, and that's the one I'm using, it's still turning. I'll switch it off for the time being. The resin. Right, this is resin now, it's not epoxy, it's polymer resin. The stuff I showed you earlier on, Flexicoat, that's 2-part, other parts over there. High build formula, you can get a thin build or a light build, never seen the point. I can add 5% acetone to that and I've got light build, why should I pay for 2? I decant it into these wee, whatever they are, muscle type jar things. Believe it or not, you can actually buy mixing things. Ooh, spiffing.
It looks like a pie tray.
That is a pie tray.
Probably why.
You could buy 100 of them for a price of about 10 mixing trays. No.
It's even better if you eat the pies first.
Yeah, no, they just buy them loose. Buy them loose. Different spatula for what I use for the glue. Now resin. It's been lying a few days. I've not used it, so. Oh, that's it. I'll always start with that one first, and that one first. It's the same when I'm doing the glue. I don't know why I always start with the red one first, and that, the one at the left. Because sure, if you do something, and then the phone goes, and you think, did I add that, did I mix it, and it goes in the bin. For this, oh, I need about half of one, but I never use less than 3. You get a bad mix if you do less than 3. I'll bring it up, bring the first wee bit up, and then blast it out again, because you'll bring a bubble up. Three I want. There we are. 3. How come you got to finish your coffee and mine's frozen?
I'm a professional.
Professional loafer.
Professional coffee drinker.
Be frozen with the first frozen one. Right, and the other half. Same again. Pull a wee drop up. Check it for a bubble. There's a bubble. Blast it out. So you're filling the wee nozzle. I think it's a 50-50 mix. So down to 3. That's that side of it done. Seal them up again almost immediately. Brushes, you can actually use a brush. Keep mentioning Mick, saw him a couple of weeks ago on a video. He had a teaspoon with it, holding it up to it. Never tried the idea, it seemed to work. He was letting it sit in a teaspoon as the resin mixed. I've always used brushes. I use them on they're throwaways. Buy them about 80 at a time. They also sell sable brushes and, sorry, no. Use them once, bin them for the price there. You can use spatulas. You can actually cut up an old bank card flat and make it, I used to have one somewhere, make it into like a spatula. Use anything you like, apart from your fingers, you know. Anyway, mix. Don't go too hard in the mix or you bring bubbles in. You don't want bubbles. This stuff's been lying a while, so it's quite thick. We'll soon sort that. High-tech, rod building, hairdryer, out the pound shop.
Which was it?
About £3.
What, £3 at the pound shop?
Aye. No, a pound shop, there's a pound stretcher, so they stretched all the prices. Yeah, it's hers that I nicked, I can't mind. Takes 2 or 3 minutes to mix this up. That's what that's up. I'm just trying to get rid of all the wee streaks. You know, when you first start mix it, you'll see streaks. And you'll see a few wee bubbles. But we'll get rid of them. Right. Switch it on. Oops. And Lanny keeps annoying me as to where I hold my hands, but I've got no option in this where my hands are going to go. Everybody's got their own way to do it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. I like to get a hand and support it with that one, but you'll still be able to see it. Remember, I've got a tunnel there underneath where the guide is. There's a wee tunnel. under there, where the thread rises up over the thing, there's a tunnel. That's got to be filled. Again, everybody's got their own way of doing it. Just letting that settle into it, run down a wee bit. Make sure that's very important. I'm sure most of you have seen rods where in there it goes all brown and gungy. It's not so much rust, very few guides will rust. It's algae gets into it because they haven't filled the threads. They haven't filled the tunnels. Just let the dryer do its work. Turning away. I'm just holding the thread. I like to go over it. Very thin coat first. On some rods, I mentioned earlier, I specialise in big game rods. This one I can get away with one single coat, be fine. But some of them can be 3, even 4 coats. Great big marlin rods with maybe 24 hours drying in between, and then, you know, they start off shiny and then it goes rubbed into dull again and so on. These ones I get away with one coat. Just let that turn away for a couple of minutes. Use a hairdryer. Always have done, others use wee blow torches, things like that. Just thins it out. You make a wee bubbles appear. If it's on a tiny wee bubble, I haven't got any here, it's kind of hard to make them. If there's only one tiny wee bubble, just get in close and breathe in it, and it'll burst it. If you get a lot of them, so great big long wraps, you make that a lot. Just use the hairdryer. I'm wary on using the wee blowtorch things. It's awfully easy to cook the resin, which I've seen happen on videos. I've never had it done with a hairdryer yet, so. Obviously there's one guide, so I'll let that settle for a couple of minutes or a minute or so there. Or I put the thin coat on. Normally what would happen, I just work my way down and do the thin coat and go back to the beginning. You see the tunnel's well filled in now. That, big game rod, nymphing rod, exactly the same, no difference. That's it, done. Sorted. Let it settle for a couple of minutes. We've left that for, probably 5 minutes, make sure there's no bubbles going to appear. There ain't. It's really a case of close it back up now. Keep any flies off it or dust or whatever. High tech. Job done.
And how long do you leave it in there for?
It's in there for 4.5, 4.75 hours. In actual fact, I'll just leave that in there overnight because I'm not doing any more varnish tonight, so the longer it's in there the better, but it's good to go after about it's good to come out of there after about 5 hours. Leave it 24 hours before we send it out for fishing, you know. Right, well, for a recap, there's not much more I can do. As I say, that's the one we started with. We've got the blank. Take too long. Viney's just telling me he's already about 2 hours of footage there or whatever. Take too long to do all that, but you've seen it. One guide's the same as 20 guides. Makes no difference. Put the cork handle on, same as this one. Put the reel seat on, slightly different reel seat other than that. That one's got the butt on it. This one's all built up. Again, this is my own rods. resin coatings are on it, the decals are on it. They're water slide decals, so they're very, very thin. I'm lost to what else to say actually. There's no eyes of newt or frog legs or whatever it was in it. It's common sense. There's a few wee tricks. Once Lenny puts this up, I'm sure it's like probably the one I done for World Sea Fishing. They're still asking me questions on it, and that's going on 9 years now. I'm a bit brutal on it, to say the least. But the basics are the same for any rod. Makes no difference. It's merely the components that are different. And some are too powerful to be done in the lathe. Other ones, you'd be there forever if you didn't do them in the lathe. I think that's about it. There's not a lot more I can say about it.
So basically you went from a pile of parts to your very first fly rod.
Yep, that's it.
Or you say that, not me. You need to say that.
Oh, right. What's that I need to say?
So you've got all the...
So basically we started off with a blank. He's annoying me. He's going to get thrown out. We started off with a blank. We got all the parts. I've already said this, but he says we've got to say it again. Man's off his head. We got all the parts, put them all together, resined them, varnished them, left them in there for 4 hours, 5 hours or 24 hours, whatever. Depends how busy I am. And at the end of it, we've got a rod we can fish with. Which, being mine, it's actually inside it. You can't see it. It's under the threads. It says, for traditional dry flies only. No spinners disguised as lumps of wool to be used.
So you know what, use a bung with it, no?
A what?
A bung.
A bung. Aye.
Right. And basically, the end.
The end. That's it.
Look at the camera and say it. The end.
Alright, getting learning. Lanny says I've got to go. The end. You can't see him, I can see him.
Maybe not quite like that.
Right, the end. That's it. Sorted.